everyone. Welcome to the Sales Showdown, brought to you by Supermove. We're back today with two former moving sales pros going head-to-head across 4 important sales strategies. Yesterday, we covered follow-up. Today is our second battle, objection handling. Turn objections into sales. Don't lose jobs because you don't have the right answers to customers' concerns. Discover proven tactics to overcome common hurdles and objections with ease. Before we start, Ryan, James, why is objection handling so important? Do you have a playbook on this so your sales teams always knew how to manage commonly asked questions? James, take it away.
Yeah, definitely objection handling, obviously crucial. You need to address the barriers that's keeping the client from actually choosing you. Understand their concerns, provide clear, reassuring responses. Smaller to medium companies don't always have a clear, precise sales book. It's more, thrown into the fire, figure it out. But I think the companies that do have a refined process have a huge leg up on the competition. And, it also helps training, onboarding go a lot quicker and much smoother.
There you have it, folks. Now you know why objection handling is crucial. Now let's hop into the details. We're going to start with round 1, price. James, how would you handle the price conversation?
Yeah, price, huge objection. Well, first off, you never want to be the cheapest moving company, right? You don't want to earn business that way because it never works out in the end. So when the client comes to you with that concern, you don't want to dismiss it. You want to acknowledge it. Say that you understand price is an important factor, but you have to understand most of the time, the client doesn't actually mean just the price. They really mean the price compared to the value, right? So explain why you're worth the price, whether it's the trained uniform team, the extra care taken, home protection, evaluation, packing, whatever other additional services. And then make sure to break down the cost, be very transparent, help the client see where their money's going, and that you're providing more value than the cheaper quotes. I know Ryan did this too, and I mentioned it in another round, but compare apples to apples, ask them to see the other quotes. We all do it. We all know what other quotes look like. So, make sure the client is looking at the full picture, make sure there's nothing in the fine details they're missing, and put focus on that ROI, the return of an investment. Peace of mind, time saved, less stress, all that can outweigh the cost difference. And give multiple options: full pack, partial pack, no pack. When price is brought up, you want to dig deep, see what they were expecting in terms of price, and see how far off you are. Ryan, what are you thinking?
No, man, I tell you, I always get my hands on the competitors' quotes. Throughout the 10 years, I think I had everybody in my markets. I mean, not just one quote, but multiple quotes of each. And that was how I was able to really learn my competitors inside and out over the years. And the ability to have that in your tool belt can certainly help unpack that price objective. I've also noticed the increase in pricing in general across the industry over the last few years. So people that haven't moved in a while, it can be an absolute shocker. So you can see that, how the price continues to come up, especially with rogue movers and brokers on the loose nowadays. I mean, my tidbit on overcoming price objection is pretty similar to yours, James. I'd always provide multiple pricing options. I'd always give the standard PBO quote, right? And then a potential custom pack, which included, some customer hot button items, some glassware, china, or that really cool artwork that they had on the wall. And then I would follow it up with a full service, full pack move. What this did is it gave 3 layers of pricing along with 3 different levels of service. I've also noticed that when price came up, it typically came down to value, just as you said. So the average consumer just thinks we are moving them from point A to B, right? So this is where the explanation of services and processes are crucial. And chances are your competition is just providing a price. So also, if I did not do a good enough job on the front end, more or less kind of explaining our services from womb to tomb, even the simple aspects of it, kind of like you said, James, padding, wrapping the floor, floor protection, even background check, labor, you become a price mover and not a quality mover at that point. So the more value built up front during the first phone call and survey phase, as I will call it, the less chance you'll have prices and objection. Now, also, you got to think we were a capacity-based pricing mover, which is very similar to how hotels and airlines price. So I found this to be a huge help when and if price came up. So if a customer had more flexible dates, I could potentially be more flexible on price. If they could work with the dates that we had available, now the dates part, capacity is capacity, right? So if you're booked, you're booked. So again, we leverage that capacity-based pricing model to shift customer dates to fill our schedule and provide what I'm going to call better pricing for potential customer inconvenience and our own open availability. It's a win-win, and it works way more than y'all would think.
And there you have it, folks. That concludes round 1 of objection handling. Price. The name of the game is understanding customers' expectations in order to address any price concerns that they might have. That means understanding if they're getting other quotes from other moving companies and really diving deep into what that means. Offering multiple pricing options and selling on value gets your prospect thinking of which of your options they're going to take and differentiates you from the competitors. Lastly, we discussed leveraging capacity-based pricing and offering flexibility to optimize your scheduling, all while creating some urgency and getting that customer in the door. Now, let's get ready for round 2. Reviews. Ryan, how would you handle customers mentioning past reviews during your sales process?
Well, George, that's a great question. You know what, James? Unfortunately, I think you're going to win this round. As far as I'm aware, at least for our company, I never lost a move over bad reviews. But at the same time, our company didn't have a ton of reviews. So maybe we lost opportunities that we didn't know we lost because customers didn't call us based on, 4.6 stars, but only having 25 reviews. I don't know. However, I like to think that my speed to lead and leading with the questions that I asked and my awareness of our competition got me through our lack of reviews and kind of really allowed me to close at a very high rate by providing a level of service that was just not in our marketplace. There's no doubt, though, that the more reviews that you have, obviously good reviews, the less that you'll have to deal with this being an objection, and it can actually become an extreme value prop. James, I know reviews came up when we spoke a while back, and reviews popped up when you were booking moves. So how'd you deal with it, man?
Yeah, not a great problem to have, but some companies do struggle with bad reviews, especially at the start of their company. It's hard to dig out sometimes. But first off, like bad reviews or a lack of reviews, if they're preventing a client from possibly booking you, you definitely need to tighten up the ship, right? Figure out basically your movers, your dispatch, your customer support, something is failing the client. And if you want a 5-star moving company, you need to operate like a 5-star moving company. So you're either failing at some stage of moving, or you might not be pushing for positive reviews enough to balance out the bad ones. If you're doing bad moves, then you got to get better. But it's also, you have to think of the opposite. You could have all these great moves, and if you're not pushing for them to review, then it's not going to counterbalance the bad ones. So of course, you're only going to attract the negative ones. But yeah, strong online reputation, always needed. You need to ask for reviews after the move while they're still feeling that positive experience. You got to make it easy for the client. They're really doing you a favor, so make it as easy as possible. Send them a link. Ask them if they're on Google, Yelp, or Facebook, so you know exactly what to send. And keep on them. You got to get those positive reviews.
There you have it, folks. That wraps up round 2, reviews. Now, let's hop into our third and final round, competitors. James, what comes top of mind for you when competitors are mentioned on a call?
Yeah, competitors. So when clients mention competitors, they're always, it's always going to happen. So this is your chance to highlight what sets you apart. Yeah. So when a client mentions competitors, this is your chance to highlight what sets you apart. So first off, tell them that you like when a client does their research. It means they're taking their move seriously. They're going to weigh all their options, and they're looking for the best company to pick. So you want to highlight your selling points. What makes you unique? Are you just better? Do you offer more services? You really want to tell them, do you have a really helpful and supportive customer service? Tell them, don't lie. You got to have it in place. But if you do, that's major in their decision. If it seems like competitors have that, you can't really pinpoint exactly what's different. Maybe share how you kind of take a personalized approach. So for example, if you're going up against like a large moving company, you can make sure the client knows that your company's attention is on them. They're not just a number. They're not going to get lost in the flood. And again, we go back to apples. Tell the client, make sure they look at the fine details, but also offer to look through the quote for them. Your quote might include extra services, packing, valuation, and theirs might not. So you want to offer a side-by-side comparison and find out what makes your company stand out Make sure the client knows that and figure out what your competition's weak at. That's always good to know as well. And you never want to trash talk another company, but it's important to share your strengths and compare to their weaknesses. Ryan, what about you?
Now, you made some good points, man. One thing I really love is that you never trash talk the competition whatsoever. Actually, I said really, really nice things about the other movers in our market. And I felt like that really kind of paved the way and opened up deeper conversation. But for us, I mean, unless it was some ridiculous lowball price, from a rogue mover or kind of a sideways broker, it was extremely hard for the competition to win against us. And it really boiled down to you have to know your competition and their style. And when I say I could literally tell you how they dressed, how they presented in home and virtual, how they executed on their quotes, when they sent their quote out, and even what they touched on and what they didn't touch on in their quote. And I'll tell you, man, there's immense power in knowing your competition, obtaining especially as many quotes that you can. This allowed me to truly fill the gaps that they have and take the market share from them. So again, back to knowing your competition inside and out will only give you more tools in your toolbox to win over your customers with limited objections.
And that's a wrap for our final round on objection handling. I'd like to thank you all for watching today, folks. That was Battle 2, Objection Handling. Don't forget to join us tomorrow with Battle 3, Upselling. We'll see you then.